How's it going, Gustav? This is a demo video for you for your very cool custom MHS Saber installed with a CFX. Alright, so we're going to go over my desk. I did a lot of things to this guy and I want to show you them up close. Let me know if everything makes sense to you, and then I'll get this out in the mail to you tomorrow. Thanks, man. All right, Gustav, let's go over your custom MHS Saber. This one kind of crept up on me. I knew that there was going to be some work to be done, but I've been spending the last couple days on this guy trying to nail it down for you. So there were a lot of things going on here that we'll go over everything, of course. All right, we'll start up top here. You had these 3 LED bezels screwed into the emitter, but they were full size. So all 3 of them kind of stuck almost to the center, right? So I took all of those out, cut them down, screwed them back in, made sure that the lenses were clear. All right, now you have a KR Sabers lit PCB in there. And of course, when we have a blade in, which you'll see in a second, you'll have shine through all 3 of these due to the blade. All right. Coming down here, this is probably where the most amount of work took place. So you had this control box, but you didn't have a clamp card. What I did was I laser cut a clamp card out of brass. Just laser etched a few lines on here. I put a single hole right in the center for a tactile switch. You had mentioned that you only wanted the power switch to be on the clamp, so that's what we've got here, power. And then you put this bike valve in here and wanted that to be auxiliary. Now I did want to light this up, but you probably can't tell on camera, but that is tiny. That is the microest of micro tactile switches. There wasn't any room for me to put an LED in there at all. In fact, I opted to put the tactile switch up here so it was easy to press. There are some other things I could have done if I were to take this out, but I wanted to retain the bike valve because I thought that was a really cool touch. So this is your auxiliary switch right here. All right, you already had a slot milled out here, which you and I decided to use for an OLED screen. So you have an OLED screen in there that you'll see fire up. But I did have to come over here and mill out a window for a crystal chamber. You wanted a crystal chamber in this guy. So I milled out that window. I also machined you a crystal chamber out of aluminum. It's got a little brass rod with a piece of a spring going down the middle just for some aesthetics. And there's a real quartz crystal in there. All right, so there's your crystal chamber here. Coming down here, we're gonna unscrew your handle. Watch out when you take this off, because as you're fully aware, this piece right here is just kind of on here. I didn't want to glue that down or anything. If you wanted to put some E6000 on there and just kind of go like that and let it sit, that would work out perfectly fine, but I didn't want to do that without asking you. All right, so we're gonna put this off to the side. Here's your chassis. So I originally wanted to see if I could do a metal sleeve, but there wasn't quite enough room in there for a metal sleeve, especially with a CFX build. A CFX is a pretty wide board. It's actually it's 0.82 inches wide when a Profi is 0.7 inches wide. So there's a 0.12 inch difference there. It does make quite a bit of difference when you want to go and take a piece of metal and throw it over here, because there's barely any room. All right, so what I did instead was I designed a chassis out of carbon fiber. I did put a few copper accent tubes in here just for some aesthetics. All right, easy access to your SD card, in and out. Your crystal chamber is wired to the LS2 pad, so as you'll see here in a moment, I have this pulsing when the Saber is off. It will go off when the Saber is on, and then you'll see the effect when you hold the auxiliary down for blade lock. And of course, you can program that to do whatever you like. All right, but easy access here to do all that. 28mm Smugglers Outpost Elite speaker. This is such a big Saber that I wanted to maintain a 28mm speaker. That was very important to me, so you get the most amount of sound possible. All right. Flipping over here, you have a removable battery set up. This takes an 18650 Keep Power protected cell button top battery. All right. This just has the sticker off of it. So you take your battery spring side for the negative side of your battery down here. Clip it in. As soon as you clip it in, you're going to see the OLED screen go. That is my personal logo. So it goes from Arabic over to English to Solo Sabers. All right. After that turns off, your crystal chamber will start pulsing. And we can put the handle on. Slide it in. Lock it down, nice and tight. Crystal chamber pulsing. We'll come over here and hit power. Now you got shine through in all three of those bezels. Okay? All your LEDs on your blade on your blade connector are all lit up. You've got that animation over here for your OLED screen. As you can see, on this particular setup, I have the crystal going off when the Saber's on. Auxiliary over here. When you hold auxiliary down for blade lockup, you will then get that effect in the crystal. All right, we'll turn it off. Your blade retention is the provided knurled thumb screw here. So we're gonna take that out. We're gonna put a blade in. This Saber was designed to hold a 1-inch diameter blade. So we'll push the blade down, lock it down with the blade retention screw, hit power. Get that shine through there. If you want to change color, hold down the auxiliary switch and twist the Saber. See that? And of course these will change with the blade because they're being shined by the blade. All right, your crystal chamber also will change with the blade color. So if we turn it off with the green blade, you're going to get a pulsing green crystal. All right, we'll hold down this to go to the menu.
Sound bank selection.
Night 4.
Crystal focus. Crystal focus.
Nebula.
Ringing.
Revolt. Show. The force unleashed.
If you like that, just hold it down.
What will you do with me?
Power. With that rain in the background. And we'll turn it off and take the blade out. All right. And we'll go through breaking these back down. Now I was unfortunately not able to utilize, you sent me some tiny jewels. I wasn't quite sure where to put them on here and make it look good. You can go through, glue them on in various places. That's a personal touch that I didn't quite feel comfortable with because I didn't know what you would like and what you wouldn't. But if you use some CA glue and a pair of tweezers, you can get those wherever you like. Or if you don't want to put them on there, you don't have to do that either. All right, we're gonna come over here and take the handle off. Slide it off carefully like that. When we're done, come over here from the positive side, which is over here by your speaker. Just use something flat to help you pop that battery out like that. All right, and then we'll put the handle back on for safekeeping. But Gustav, that is basically how you use your MHS custom. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll get this out in the mail to you tomorrow. Thanks, man.